Hey, good Friday afternoon. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox. Thanks for joining us today, and congratulations for making it to the end of the work week. Temperatures today are going to be a lot nicer than what we see tomorrow. Temperatures are tumbling 20 plus degrees colder tomorrow for some as we have polar air entering into the central and southern portions of the state. Do you like what I did here with this headline? Polar air plunging south. You know the polar plunge, right? Alrighty, some of us are going to see snow with this cold air coming in. And today we have extreme wind gusts across New Mexico and into West Texas. But before we talk about all of those big and important headlines, I do want to talk about our Raising Hail Tour 2025. Last year's Hail Tour was so much fun. The energy in the room as Derek gave his forecast was just something that you want to be there for. And if you see Derek's hail forecast, you are going to be one of the first to know what to expect for this upcoming spring season. We have 6 different cities, as you can see here on the screen, ranging from February 4th to March 11th across Edmond, Denton, Chicago, Denver, Omaha, and Orlando. Now, tickets are $25, but if you want a $10 off code, you can put in RHT. That stands for Raising Hail Tour. So it's RHT Taylor 10. Because you're watching the live forecast today, you get that special discount on your Raising Hail Tour tickets. Not only do you have a lunch included in these tickets, but also a chance to win a Yeti cooler, and of course, great networking opportunities with different people across the contracting industry. Alrighty, let's get to your forecast now. You can see that we do have some snow over the last 24 hours, snow and rain across our New England states. This is kind of the intro to that winter weather that we're going to get later on this week. We've also got some snow across Montana into Wyoming. Okay, now that is going to slowly move down to Colorado, and we're going to see some pretty impressive snowfall totals just near and outside of Denver in the next 48 hours, and we'll talk about that as well. Some of us are starting to already see that really cold air, but for today, temperatures are above average for a good portion of the U.S. Watch how this changes from today to tomorrow. There's that cold air. There's that polar plunge. So this map shows degrees away from normal, away from the average for that time of the year. So we're talking 10, 20 degrees below average as we head into Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures are looking to be below freezing for a good portion of the U.S. for over 100 hours straight. So you're going to want that jacket or the coat and the gloves and the hand warmers for the entire weekend. Right now we do have some showers ongoing here in Oklahoma. Actually out in Baylor County, we had reports of pea-sized hail in this area. Small, very, very small hail, but we have seen some reports of hail this morning. We've got a cold front coming through right now, just some showers, maybe some lightning with this, but nothing severe. Anywhere from southern Texas out to the central and eastern side, southern Oklahoma to the central and eastern side of Texas. Out to the east, we're pretty dry right now. We've got some snow. This is what I was talking about earlier, that snow that's moving from Montana into Wyoming and eventually down into Denver. And wait until I show you snowfall totals in Boulder. We'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. Current temperatures are sitting in the 50s here in Oklahoma City. Enjoy it while you can, because temperatures are tumbling down into the 20s and 30s tomorrow. We already have the 20s and 30s farther up to the north, and there's all of that cold air. Do you see actually this line, this cold front right here? Watch this. As it dips down into the U.S., that's what's pulling in that really cold air into the U.S. over the next 24 hours. And we've already got watches and warnings in place for that. These winter weather advisories and alerts are in place to just prepare us for that cold air, the snow, and the high winds that are coming in right now. So these highlighted here in tan are the high wind alerts that we're expecting over the next 24 hours. We could see wind gusts up to about 75 miles an hour, especially down to the south from New Mexico into West Texas. These are the types of high winds that may make your car wobble a little bit. I would be very, very aware of semis on the road as well, because those are going to be more susceptible to these high winds. This could also be blowing around any dust or any dirt that's loose in this area and create some low visibility. So if you're anywhere from Albuquerque all the way out to Lubbock, Texas, make sure that you are aware of the high winds today. You probably already felt it, right? As you step outside of your car this morning, you had to hold onto that door handle so it doesn't fling open. Now let's talk about the snow, returning to that wet weather and winter weather now. We are watching for snow moving from Montana to Wyoming, as I mentioned just a few minutes ago. That rain that is in Oklahoma and Texas right now will be moving off to the east. So two things going on here. Rain off to the east. We could see better chances for storms down to the south. Not expecting anything severe. You could have a rumble of thunder, a strike of lightning, but nothing severe here. Rain and a mix, a wintry mix, as we go farther into the north and as that cold air comes down into this area. And then there's your snow out to the west in Denver. And as I mentioned earlier, wait until you see those snowfall totals for Boulder, which we'll get to here in just a few minutes. So two things going on here: snow out to the west, rain, and potential storms out to the east. So that's on Friday. There you go. We can zoom down and really get down into that. There's Denver, looking like that we're going to see some snow start later on this evening and into tomorrow, probably snowing through most of the day on Saturday. Rain moves into places like St. Louis as we get into your evening drive, very similar all the way down into Memphis. And it does look like we're going to have a rainy evening. So if you have a Friday night plans in St. Louis and Memphis, trying to soak up some of the last moments of above freezing temperatures, it may be rainy. You'll probably wake up with rain out to the east as well for your Saturday morning in places like Atlanta, all the way to Toronto. Now here's your Saturday, still continuing to see all of this rain and wet weather move out to the east. And then we've got some very, very light snow. Don't let this fool you here. Most of this will be light snow, anywhere from southern Kansas all the way up to northern Oklahoma. A very, very low chance to see any of this snow come into Oklahoma City. The better chances for snow will be out to the west near the Oklahoma and Texas panhandle into the northeastern side of New Mexico, where we could see blowing snow that will create low visibility on the roadways. But still, your accumulations out here are not terribly impressive. And we'll talk about snowfall totals here in just a few minutes. Again, here's your storms down in northern Florida, southern Alabama, southern Georgia here. Not expecting anything severe out of this, but a rumble of thunder, a strike of lightning cannot be ruled out. Now moving on, I think these are your snowfall totals, not quite yet. Okay, Sunday, mainly some snow up to the north and east. By early next week, did anyone order snow down in Texas? Again, stop ordering that. It's going to be cold, it's going to be snowy down in southern Texas once again. Central, southern Texas, by early next week, we are expecting another round of winter weather. Okay, I've been teasing snowfall totals. Let's get into it now. By Saturday afternoon, we're expecting a few inches out in Denver, mainly the upper elevations as you head farther up to the north through Wyoming and Montana. If you look out to the Midwest, what we're watching for here are mainly less than 6 inches of snow. Okay, so you can deal with it out in the Midwest. You're prepared for this type of stuff. This isn't out of the ordinary for you. What I really want you to watch out for our Midwestern states is that lake effect snow. Snowfall totals in this area could get over a foot. So lake effect snow, look, you can kind of see it off of the Great Lakes here. Higher snowfall totals will accumulate as we get into the upper elevations, anywhere from West Virginia all the way up to our New England states. So I do think that as we head into the later portion of the weekend and early next week, we're going to see some more impressive snowfall totals just off of the East Coast here. Now, what about that Texas snow? I know that's on everyone's radar. Just to the south of Dallas as we head into the early portion of next week, models are trying to bring in some really impressive snowfall totals in between Dallas and Houston. So could Austin get some good snow here? It's possible, but we're still about 4 to 5 days away from this snow hitting, 3 to 4 days away from this snow hitting. So we're still several days out. Snowfall totals at this point aren't terribly reliable. We know it's going to be cold. We know you're going to get some sort of winter weather, but to put a number on that right now is very, very difficult for any meteorologist. So we're going to hold off on actually putting numbers on these snowfall totals for central and southern Texas and into Louisiana. Central Louisiana also expecting some form of snow, but we'll talk a little bit more about that early next week. Make sure that you come back for your forecast on Monday to talk about those snowfall totals. What about the ice? Oftentimes with these cold temperatures and this winter weather, we get a mix of snow and ice. Here's the good news, less than a 1% chance for impressive ice totals. So we're not expecting ice with this system. Great news there. Now Denver, I mentioned that we would talk about your snowfall totals. Here's your different models. Each line here is a different model for snowfall totals, okay? I like this graphic because it gives timing too. So Denver, it looks like all models are in agreement that your snow is going to start late tonight. You may not have any snow on the ground right now, but after the sun goes down, that's whenever we're going to start to see that winter weather. This will continue as we head into the day on Saturday, as I mentioned earlier. We're looking for totals anywhere between about 2 and 6 inches here. So models are on either side of the spectrum. If you look at the National Weather Service in Denver, they're saying the same thing, that you could see anywhere from 2 to 6 inches of snow in this area. However, I really want to get into exactly where you're getting snow. If you're on the west side of the city, your snowfall totals are going to be higher. We've had a lot of model agreements with this. If you look up to the northwest and to Boulder, Colorado, you're probably going to get way more snow than you see out in Denver. Just a small geographic difference here, but we are expecting higher snowfall totals closer to 6 to 12 inches of snow in places like Boulder, Colorado. So you can see the difference here between the west and the east side of the city. Your snowfall totals, much different just by crossing I-25 there. Moving on to the East Coast now. I think that we're moving out. Yep, we're moving out to the east. Most of this snow will come in late in the weekend and into Monday. And then, of course, there's Texas trying to bring that snow in. Your likelihood for some pretty impressive totals here, 4, 6, 12, 18 inches. Again, it's going to mainly be that lake effect snow here. You see just off of the Great Lakes, as the system pushes to the east, we're going to see some really impressive snowfall totals just along the coastline there. And then other than that, just off the East Coast, anywhere from New York up to the far northeastern, even into Canada, we could see up to a foot of snow. And again, that's Sunday into Monday. Now, what about that cold air? We've talked a lot about winter weather. We haven't done a ton on cold air yet. And I think that's going to impact more people across the U.S., cold air. Okay, here's what's happening. We have a dip in the jet stream. So you can see this, the jet stream controls most of our weather across the US. You can see this start to dip down and pull in cold air from Canada down to the US. Now, I'm sure you appreciate the science, but you're wondering, how does this impact me? How cold are we actually getting? Here's your temperatures. 18 degrees this afternoon in Bismarck, but we're still holding on to our 50s out in Oklahoma City. Things change overnight. You're waking up tomorrow morning in the low 30s here in Oklahoma City. That's it. We don't warm up after that. Temperatures will actually get colder throughout the day from Saturday morning into Saturday afternoon. Sunday, even colder. Out in Denver on Sunday morning, you're waking up with temperatures, not feel like temperatures. These are your actual temperatures, 6 degrees below zero. Up in Bismarck, 12 degrees below zero. We're in the teens as you head farther down to the south and the single digits out to the Midwest. Now, if you factor in the wind with this, temperatures just get even colder. Let's take a look at the wind chills. By Saturday, temperatures, or feel like temperatures rather, are below zero. Out in places like Fargo, Minneapolis, we're not just a few degrees below zero, but 15 degrees below zero for your wind chill in Fargo, 13 degrees below zero in Lake Superior. Monday, still cold. Monday's still below zero in these areas. Now let's talk about your long term. We're getting into the end of January now. Can you believe it? That our first month of 2025 is halfway over. If we look into this second to last week of January, it looks like temperatures are going to warm up just a little bit, especially up to the north central portion of the U.S. and out to the west. The rest of us look like temperatures are going to stay below average, especially out in the southeastern portion of the U.S. Now, what about that extended rainfall outlook? Most of us stay dry, but we have a very low chance for above average wet weather precipitation, because we can't say rain this time of the year. It's either going to be rain or snow, especially whenever it's below average, whenever temperatures are below that 32-degree line. So we are looking at above average precipitation up to the north central portion of the U.S. and out to the south and east. And there's your forecast. Thanks for joining us today. I appreciate you hopping on here. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox, and of course, we will have your forecast every single day, every single weekday at noon, so we'll be back here on Monday. In the meantime, we'll be posting on all of our social media platforms. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And if you have any questions on how to get a hail, wind, or tornado map, give us a call. We do mapping of storms all across the country, even up into Canada and even in Australia. So a little bit of everywhere. We do hail, wind, tornado maps. Give us a call at 855-334-4245 or email us at info@hailtrace.com. Head over to our website for more information, hailtrace.com. All right, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you back here, same time, same place on Monday.